everyone. So I'm sorry this has taken so long. I usually like to do my updates on the live feeds fairly quickly, and I was just dealing with some stuff, so I couldn't film, but I am back. So before I get into what has been going on, I wanted to talk about that group chat from BB21, the cast. I'm not surprised. It is horrendous, obviously, and I don't know who put these messages out there. I don't know who was finally the one to out them. I did see Jessica's tweet saying, kind of implying that she, you know, put it out there that she was a part of that group chat, and Kat's apology for being in that group chat and finally leaving in July. Nick issued an apology, which, I mean, after something like that, this gets revealed, the apology really means nothing. Those long apologies in the Notes app, it's just kind of like, you're just sorry you got caught. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this because I know it's all over Twitter. It's just not nice. Let's move on to Nicole Franzl. Some more crying. She did not like that Bailey made that comment about a couple tries, a couple guys. Bae did not mean it like this. I know she didn't. I don't think anybody thinks that she meant it this way, but Franzl is definitely sensitive about this. I don't like bringing up all, you know, the guys she's been with and stuff like that. To me, that's not really important. I'm not gonna discuss that because I don't think it's really all that fair to bring it up, but I don't like how she plays the victim with this. Just own it. I think she would be so much better and people would like her so much more if she just owned it and didn't play the victim, didn't cry about it. It's just annoying at this point. And I don't want Bae to be a target because of this, because obviously she didn't mean it like that. So yeah, and Bae's on slop this week, so I think she's just a little more direct when she's speaking. It's been rough on her, and she said it. She just kind of wants to be left alone, doesn't want to be touched, and I totally understand that. When you're an introvert and you're surrounded by people in this house 24/7, it is definitely rough. I can't even imagine. I'm sure you have your moments where you just want privacy and you just don't get that privacy. I thought it was really funny when Day told Bae that Nicole started crying after that, and Bae was like, what? Like, she was just like, couldn't even comprehend how she would be so sensitive towards this. I think after all this time, like I said, Nicole should embrace it. It is what it is. She's with Victor now. She's married. She's a happy woman. So it happened. You can't change the past, so just move forward. Because just feeling bad about it, crying about it, and making a whole scene, this whole victim complex, just gives people more room to, you know, make fun of you. Danny made that comment about showmance is going far. Just ask Nicole. Nicole didn't cry about that. Bae and Nicole did try to have a talk about it, but Nicole's just not letting it go. She did not like that, and she's not gonna forget it. They played charades. There was a mention of doing it based on old BB housecasts and seasons, but production didn't want that. You know, they keep cutting when they talk about certain people. Janelle and Kaiser didn't really play. I think Kaiser joined in later. Ian was apparently very good at it. Cody and Christmas were very competitive at it. Bae, Day, and Ian have made an effort to hang out with Janelle and Kaiser so they're not like alone. I always feel bad when they isolate the targets. I think that's not fair. I know sometimes you could be made a target because you're hanging out with the target, but it's just, I can't even imagine being in that house and people treating you differently, people ignoring you, and just acting like you're the plague. It must be rough. I can't imagine doing that to somebody else. I wouldn't be able to do it. So this whole little crush between David and Day, there's definitely something there. Day had a talk yesterday with Kevin, and she says that it's a crush, you know, that she likes him inside of the house, outside of the house, no. When she wasn't in the house, she didn't really follow him on social media. She was kind of upset about him. She didn't like how he treated Kemi. She didn't like that whole thing and how he was in a picture and like hanging out with Mickey and Jack. She's just like, why would he do that? So yeah, I think people, they're more so discussing that David has a crush on Day and is always touching her and wanting to be around her. I wouldn't really be surprised that a showmance would happen. You know, there's always a showmance. I would be surprised if it's Day and David. Day just seems so like grounded to me. Not that you can't be grounded in being a showmance, but I wouldn't have thought it going into this. I really thought there would be no showmances, but I guess we'll see. She definitely doesn't see it going past the game. As far as who's going home, Janelle and Kaiser on the block, I think everybody has, you know, their own agenda for it. Obviously, Nicole Franzl, Danny want Janelle out. Cody was mentioning keeping Janelle around, but he wants Janelle out too, but he also doesn't like Kaiser. He doesn't vibe with him, so I think for him, maybe he'd probably want Kaiser out more because Janelle will go after the girls and he feels like he would benefit from it. Ian obviously connects better with Kaiser. He would love to have Kaiser there without Janelle and just wrap in Kaiser and have Kaiser to himself. They obviously have this bond. They're both very intellectual and they vibe. Enzo mentioned keeping Janelle so she would go after some people that he wouldn't have to. He says that she would go after Cody and Nicole, so that would really benefit him. I do think it would be better if Janelle goes because I do think that Kaiser has a better shot. I think he is able to fly a little bit under the radar, even though there are going to be people that still want to target him. Cody. Janelle's going to have more of an issue because if she stays, then people are, you know, still going to want to go after her. She's still going to be a huge target. She can't just float on by. It's just impossible. As much as I don't want her to go, I don't want either one of them to go. I am delusional because I still feel like maybe something will happen. Maybe something will be rigged in our favor. Even though chances are so slim, I'm still hoping there's some type of twist that they can both stay in the game. But maybe eventually we'll get America votes and we could give Kaiser Janelle the power and really make this season better, because this has been so sad. I keep watching edits of Janelle and Kaiser's friendship. Why do I do that to myself? I don't know, but it hurts. I keep crying and feeling bad because we are most definitely not getting this again. We're not going to see them play Big Brother again. So I'm just milking this for what it's worth, enjoying every second of it. I guess we're lucky we had these weeks with them and they were able to reconnect, and they're talking about being better at keeping in touch, and Kaiser hanging out with Janelle's husband and Janelle hanging out with his wife, and I'm all for that. I wish they would have been better positioned in this house. I wish they had a better shot. They went in as big targets, and it's just the way it is. They're sitting on the block together again. You know, I was hoping Tyler wouldn't go through with this, but they just didn't form that alliance with him. I think if they would have been better off. They associated him immediately with Cody, which I know they're associated. They do have an alliance, but I think Tyler would have been receptive to possibly working with them. I think they put his name out there and Tyler was like, okay, that's it, you know, gotta do what the house wants me to do. I wish things were different. I really do, because then we could have had a better week, because right now it's hard. Apparently, Bae said it's Nicole's turn in her sleep. Rockstar was saying on Twitter that Bae also walks in her sleep. I think this is so funny. And the fact that Cody heard her say this, and he told her like, hey, I heard you say this. And she's like, oh my God, please don't tell Nicole. She's already paranoid about me. And Cody's like, well, I do admit I did tell Danny, you know, her BFF in the house. He didn't say that part, but that's what we're all thinking. Christmas and Day downstairs. Day was probably like, ugh. But I'm just like, oh my God, another reason for Nicole to want to go after Bae. So the veto players were Tyler. The nominees, of course, Janelle and Kaiser, Bae, Cody, and Memphis. I saw these people and I was like, I don't know, how do I feel about it? Bae was saying she wouldn't use a veto, but you know what? Who knows? You say things to cover your butt. I do think people talk bad about certain people too, as a way of bonding too. And Bae just has to position herself in a way where she'll be okay once Janelle or Kaiser leaves. I was hoping, you know, Memphis would throw it, which I don't know if he did. He probably did. Cody actually ended up winning the veto. There was a lot of confusion at first as to who won it. I was watching the feeds and I didn't see Janelle or Kaiser with the veto. I heard people saying on Twitter that Tyler got it. And I was like, and then I heard him say that he got second place again, that he's always getting second place. And I was like, okay, who got it then? People were like, oh, it was Memphis. And then finally it was Cody. Which is sad. You know, obviously I wanted Janelle or Kaiser to win, so one of them could come off the block, so they're not both sitting on the block, and maybe on a slim chance somebody else goes home. But it didn't happen. Apparently it was some puzzle competition. Cody did it the fastest, Tyler did it the second fastest. These guys are gonna be hard to beat. It's about time people take shots, you know. Tyler has gotten really close in a lot of comps. Cody's obviously a great competitor. He's won a lot of competitions. In these new BB seasons, these competitions are tailored toward people like them. So it sucks, you know. I think the competitions used to be different, and I think it's very telling that guys have won the majority of the competitions. I think a female has only won one so far, and that was a safety suite competition that Christmas won. Tyler and Cody did discuss the eventual blindside of Danny. You know what? As upset as I'm gonna be about Jacer being broken up and the fact that this season isn't going the way I wanted, I am very excited to see this house, this big alliance, turn on each other. I'm excited to see it split. I do think it could very well be Tyler versus Danny, or, you know, it's gonna be very interesting to watch when it all implodes. I wonder if Danny is aware that her name is going around, that they know. You know, she's obviously a competition beast and she's pretty smart, even though I know her game this season isn't what people expected or wanted. I'm excited to see how it plays out because her and Tyler definitely don't trust each other. I think that whole Twitter thing that Tyler knows Danny wasn't rooting for him, it's gonna be very interesting. Tyler's lucky in the sense that he's able to get these very loyal companions. He has Christmas, who is basically Casey 2.0. He has David. And then you look at Cody, he has Franzl, yes, but it's not the same. Danny can't really be trusted. So Tyler is definitely kind of in a better position because he's playing the same game he did last time, which is another thing I want you to discuss. Everybody's playing the same game. You know, I remember when the cast list came out that I was excited to see how people would play different games, since if people did their research, they would be aware of the games that everybody plays. But what I've noticed is that people didn't do their research. They don't know who each other are. They only know certain people. So it's not the same. People are basically playing the same game, and I'm not going to judge them because I've obviously never been in the BB house. So I know it must be hard playing very different games. Not everybody is a Dan Giesling, you know? So the fact that they're getting away with playing kind of the same game is just crazy to me, you know? People really should have done their research more and pay attention more. You know, they're just doing the same exact thing. So I really wish the veto was a how bad do you want it veto. That would have been really interesting to watch because I think Kaiser obviously would have done anything for it. He shaved his head, so it would have been really interesting to watch that. Danny and Tyler were talking that they don't trust Day right now. Day's definitely on people's radars, but they like Ian, which I'm like, it's just kind of like fishing for this information to see what the other person says. Obviously, I think that Ian could have been a possibility for being on the block. I don't think it was necessarily on the table for anybody to save him if they won safety suite competition, because I do think he was an option. Obviously, Kevin probably would have been up if Janelle or Kaiser won the veto, he would probably be the replacement, but I think there was still that possibility of Ian being that replacement. Janelle told Kaiser that if she stays, she would team up with one of the power players and take out floaters like Day and Kevin. And wouldn't that be pretty epic? Imagine she like joins forces with Tyler or Cody. That would have been nuts, but it's not gonna happen. I do think Janelle is gonna be the one going home, and Kaiser for the first time is gonna be in the house without her, which is crazy to me. I hope he's able to fly under the radar for a while. I do think they both went on this game because they really do love it. I think they knew that they weren't gonna win, that they didn't necessarily have that shot to win, but they did it because they love the game and they love playing together, which is just so sweet to me. Janelle mentioned lying to Tyler and throwing Memphis under the bus. I saw that and I was like, oh my God, yes. Please, that's what I was hoping for out of this week when I saw Tyler win. But, you know, it's not gonna work. You know, it's a very easy week for Tyler. Like, why, you know, piss somebody else off? Why piss off the house? So, unfortunately for us. Danny was saying that Tyler took like 39 seconds for the veto, and apparently this was the veto that Corey won in BB18. I don't remember this, but that's the competition. Apparently Memphis threw it really obviously. That's what Danny was saying, that they were like, yeah, he did it because he really wanted Janelle to win. Honestly, I don't think he cares about Janelle and Kaiser. Yeah, he didn't want to go after them on his HOH because they're numbers for him, but he really just doesn't care. He doesn't care about anyone. The Kevin bashing was funny. Janelle says, yeah, everybody's really nice in the house. They were like, oh yeah, we really like Tyler. Like her and Kaiser were saying that they wouldn't mind if Tyler won. But she was like, but I would never hang out with Kevin again. Which I would understand because he's been talking a lot of smack about her. Kaiser said he'd go rogue if he was left in the game, which I would love to see. Like, go hard or go home, you know. He obviously does play a very aggressive game sometimes, and he plays fast, which is totally fine. I'm for it. They're gonna go out anyway, might as well go hard. I like how I'm contradicting myself because then again, I want him to fly under the radar so he can last longer. Him and Janelle are like discussing like, oh no, I'm gonna tell them to keep you. I'm gonna tell you to keep you. But neither of them really want to go to jury because they have great lives at home. They have their family. So obviously they want to go home to their family and not just hang out with these people that they don't like and be stuck in the jury house and not be able to go home. So I understand where they're coming from. But as a selfish fan, I want them to stay around. So Christmas got her punishment. She has this starfish baby that she has to take care of. People were criticizing this because they were saying about how insensitive this is because Bailey did have a miscarriage in the house. And I think also people are missing their families at home. I'm just kind of like, Ian got the worst punishment. Janelle had to dress up as a star. Christmas has to take care of a star baby, which Day says sounds like Elmo. And then Ian had to recite all these scenes. He definitely got the more challenging one. Bay mentioned that she'd do Ian and Nicole as noms, which I don't think would be a bad idea since they're both winners. It's an easy excuse. Obviously, I'd want Nicole to go home and Ian to stay. I think that'd be good because Bay could wrap in Ian once Nicole is out. And that would be a number for her. Janelle and Kaiser were saying that too. If you get rid of Nicole, then you have Ian. That if Nicole stays in the game, they don't really have Ian because he's with Nicole. Janelle is so funny. She says that once she leaves and it's time to pick have-nots, she told Kaiser to pick Nicole Franzl for her and be like, this is from Janelle, don't cry, whatever. And Kaiser's like, didn't you tell me to blend in? And Janelle's like, yeah, you could blend in after that. So yeah, the house got boozed. Janelle's a have-not, so she couldn't have any. So we missed out on that potential drama. We know how she gets when she drinks. That would have been so much fun. I would have loved for her to tell people off. But yeah, that's all I have. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. More content coming your way. I promise I'm not giving up on this season yet. Although I'm disappointed and I didn't want Jacer to be broken up, I'm still here, guys, and I'm still gonna be updating you guys. So, bye.